Hello again, my beautiful peeps, Jamaican youth in the building yet again with another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the just released Concacaf Nations League squad for the upcoming Nations League game against Honduras and Haiti to be played in Jamaica, presumably at National Stadium. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. We're going to see the names that were announced by now. Some of you probably already have heard it, but we're going to talk about that. There are some changes in the squad from the Gold Cup, and we want to see who these changes are and how they're going to interact or figure into the team going in the games coming forward. So we're definitely about to get into that. Before we start talking about that, I want to ask you to hit the like button. It helps to send the video out to more eyes for more people to see. And if you haven't subscribed, to hit the subscribe button, as it helps to grow the channel. And all of your support helps in terms of growing the channel. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So as I said before, today, the highly anticipated squad list for the Jamaica Reggae Boyz was announced by Coach Jaime Hallgrimsson. And that is the squad list for the Nations League games between Honduras and Haiti coming up starting next week Thursday for Honduras, and then I think the following week Tuesday for Haiti. So who was called up? We're going to get right into it. This was a press conference that was held at the JFF headquarters right there in New Kingston. So, the coach kind of started out talking about looking back at the Gold Cup and how he felt about it, because we haven't really heard about how he felt about the entire tournament. So he started talking about the fact that, he felt good about the Gold Cup. He felt good about how, the team performed, the fact that they got to the semi-final. Jamaica lost to the eventual champions, Mexico. And actually, after the tournament was done and they did their detailed analysis, they ended up actually feeling much better than they did in the moment. I guess in the moment when they lost, the shock of, maybe not the shock, but the disappointment of losing the game, was felt worse than actually when he started analyzing it. And I think most would agree that the Gold Cup was a success. So he started out talking about that. But he did say some things that could have happened was better ball possession, even though the ball possession kind of improved over the course of the Gold Cup. He did say that ball possession was something that we could improve on, that still needs improvement. And then, I think, even Merrion Gordon was saying that defensively as a team, they did well, except for that last game against Mexico. But it's still something that, even though it was good, that could also be improved as well. So that's how we started out talking about announcing the teams. Then the coach went into talking about what's the objectives for the Nation League. What is it that he wants to accomplish from this? He named 5 objectives. Number 1 objective was to win the Nations League. Obviously, if you go into a league to play, you wanna win it. It's just like the Premier League. Even though you have the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the European Championships, whatever it is, you want to win the Premier League. And that is essentially what this is. He wants to win the Nation League, number 1. Number 2, he wants to qualify for Copa America, because this year, this Nations League is going to be used for qualification towards the Copa America. So it's important that your performance is good going into the Nations League so that you can qualify for the Copa America. Number 3, he said that he wanted to use this Nations League and eventually the Copa America as preparation for the World Cup, because as you know, World Cup qualifying will start next year. And that's what he was hired for. That's the main objective of this coach. As much as we want to, do well in Nations League, maybe win Nations League, qualify for Copa America, do well in the Gold Cup, the objective of this coach, the number 1 objective, is to qualify for the World Cup. Number 4, he said he wanted to improve Jamaica's FIFA ranking. His goal that he says he wants to get Jamaica below 40 in FIFA. That's his goal. And you know what that means if Jamaica is below 50, you know what that means for Jamaican players. England will now open up, and even the rest of Europe will now open up a little bit more for our players to get opportunities. But I don't know that is necessarily why he's thinking that, but he wants to get Jamaica below 40 in FIFA. And then number 5, his 5th objective is to be top 4 in Concacaf. And he talked about the fact that USA, Mexico, Canada, and Costa Rica don't have to play the early stages of the Nations League because they're top 4 in CONCACAF. He says that he wants Jamaica to be one of those teams in the future. So that is something that he's working on. Quite frankly, I think all those goals are excellent goals, are top-notch goals. That's how I would like my coach to think, and him making that public, making us know that that is what he's thinking, goes a far way with me. I really appreciate the fact that those are the things that he's planning for. So let's get right into the Nations League squad. Who made the squad and who didn't? So I'm putting it up on the screen, as you can see. The goalkeepers are Andre Blake, Jamali Waite, Kanaya Boyce Clark. The defenders are Damian Lowe, Tavon Gray, Ethan Pinnock, Amari Bell, Deshaun Bernard, Dexter Lembikisa, Adrian Mariappa, Greg Lee. And in midfield, we have Casey Palmer, Joel Latibodir, Daniel Johnson, Kevin Lambert, and Bobby Reid. And in the forward line, you have Leon Bailey, Michael Antonio, Demarai Gray, Dujan Whisper Richards, Corey Burke, Shamar Nicholson, and Ronaldo Cephas. Oh my God. We have been calling for Ronaldo Cephas. People have been calling for Ronaldo Cephas. Everyone has wanted to see this player in Jamaican colors since, I guess you could say, from the earlier part of the year. So in some cases, even last year, before he moved to Turkey. As some of you may know, Ronaldo Cephas just made a move from his club there in Macedonia, Shkupi, and has now moved to Ankara Gucu in the Turkey Super League. And, you know, he has only played 3 games so far and has already scored. He scored on his debut. He came off the bench and scored on his debut. And ever since that, the coach is starting Ronaldo Cephas. And every game that you watch, he looks very dangerous. He doesn't just look good. He looks really dangerous on the ball, very quick. I really see him breaking his way into this team eventually. And that's a lot to say about him because, I mean, look at the wingers we have. We have Leon Bailey and Demarai Gray. I mean, how is he going to push his way past those players? But I honestly think that this, like Ronaldo Cephas is a serious player. At 23-year-old, I think this guy has a huge upside and quite possibly could make it to the Premier League one day. I really see that happening in his future. But let's go through. So you saw that you heard the squad, and you know there are some players missing. The squad is very similar to the Gold Cup squad, but with 4 changes, and the 4 changes are Paris is out, and I guess Ronaldo Cephas came in for Paris. I think it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Kahim Paris is not really playing. He's not getting any game time at Dynamo Kiev right now. And Ronaldo Cephas is essentially on fire. He's on the up. The Turkish league and the Ukrainian league is about on par. So if you have one player playing like how Cephas is playing and the other player not getting any game time, I think that makes sense. So I think that's a good change. Javian Brown, he's taking note. I think Tavon Gray has come in for him. Tavon Gray is someone that maybe not a lot of us know. I wasn't very familiar with him, but it's former United States under-17 player who now plays right back for New York City FC in the MLS. He's a starting player for them. He's 21 years old. He has Jamaican parents, and sounds like he actually can even chat some patois too. So even though he wasn't born in Jamaica, he has Jamaican parents and seem to have grown up around a lot of Jamaicans. So very Jamaicanized. And he's a starting player for NYFC, doing well, captained the US under 17 squad to a World Cup, if I understand that correctly. So, you know, it's a former US international, at least at the youth level. And, you know, Coach Hallgrimson is giving him an opportunity. So, you know, he's kind of an unknown quantity because we haven't really been watching him before. We're going to have to go back and see how he has played in the past. But we'll see what happens. But he is in for Javane Brown, who I don't think Javane Brown was really a bad player for us. But maybe just giving another player an opportunity, and maybe we'll just put other players under pressure to say, hey, look, for you to be in this team, you gotta be performing. So he's out. Tavon Gray is in. Then Jonathan Russell is also out from the Gold Cup squad, and in comes Casey Palmer. You know, everybody was saying one of the main things that was missing from the Gold Cup squad was a ball handling midfielder. And if you listen to the just concluded press conference, the coach likened Casey Palmer onto Ravel Morrison. He actually did. And for those of you who don't know Casey Palmer, 26 years old, currently playing for Coventry City in the English Championship, have started every game so far, or have played every game so far this season for Coventry City, and actually looks pretty good in their squad. I think he will be a good addition. He's not new to Jamaica's team. He has played for Jamaica before, but I think maybe injury in the past have kind of kept him away from Jamaica. But now he's back, and Jamaica really, really needs a ball-handling midfielder. He's doing well in the English Championship right now, so he makes a return to the Jamaica squad and to fill that gap. I mean, also Daniel Johnston is there too, so at least you have some type of competition or some type of similarity there. At least you have two ball handling players, even though I kind of tend to think that Hallgrimson will be keen to look at Palmer a little bit more than Johnson, because he didn't use Johnson as much in the Gold Cup, which kind of surprises me. But he tended to use Ravel Morrison when Ravel Morrison was available. So I don't know what style Hallgrimson is going for. But if you're going to bring in a ball-handling midfielder like Casey Palmer, then we're expecting you to use him. So I don't know what the thinking is there, because he got rid of Russell, who is a defensive midfielder. But I guess with Lambert and Latiba there, I guess he's willing to take the chance. Maybe Casey Palmer can play both in a defensive and attacking role. I know Daniel Johnson is just an attacking midfielder, mostly an attacking midfielder, so I'm not expecting Hallgrimson to use Johnson in a defensive midfield role if it was needed. So Casey Palmer comes in for Jonathan Russell. And then finally, Kemar Taxi Lawrence is out, and in comes Greg Lee. So about Kemar Lawrence, as you know, some of you may know, he recently left Minnesota United. Was a very good player for them, but for why I'm still kind of unsure as to the reason behind why he left Minnesota. But it seemed like he wasn't going to preseason training and all of that. It seems like whether or not he stays there was in his hands. He decided to leave. So he's out of a club right now. He was injured during the Gold Cup, so we don't know if he has recovered from that. So with him being injured last time he was here, plus the fact that he's out of a club right now, Kemar Lawrence is out. In comes Greg Lee, who recently transferred to Oxford United. He's not the starting left back at Oxford, and Oxford United is actually in the English League One. So I guess he's kind of coming in for as cover for Amari Bell. I do think that Greg Lee has been one of our better wing backs, though, left backs. Whenever he was here, even under Coach Paul Hall, and they played, I remember them play Jamaica playing Canada in Canada, that final World Cup qualifying game that Canada won, beat Jamaica 4-0 to qualify officially for the World Cup. Greg Lee had a good game, even though Jamaica had a horrible game overall. He played well, so I think he's actually a good cover. It's just that he's not necessarily starting, mid wing back at Oxford United right now, but not a bad player. So he comes in for Kemar Lawrence. So outside of those four players, the squad pretty much remains the same. From the Gold Cup squad. So just to give my 2 cents on the squad, I think it's a good squad. I think the right players are chosen. Leon Bailey's on form, Mikel Antonio's on form, Damari Gray is still looking for a club, but I understand he's training with Everton right now. It seems that Sean Dyche doesn't have much doesn't have much use for him, which puzzles me. Sean Dyche was the manager at Everton. It kind of puzzles me because, to me, Damari Gray looks like one of their better players. I mean, he's a very good attacking player, but it seems like the system that Dyche is playing, doesn't have any space for Damari Gray. So he was linked to a club in Saudi Arabia recently, but I understand that deal kind of fell through, and now he's looking to go to a club in France, in the French League One, which, I mean, under the circumstances, I would prefer he does that than not be at a club. So good luck to Damari Gray on that, and I just hope that whenever he comes to play for Jamaica, for the Nations League, he's on form, he's fit, and all of that. But so we noticed the inclusion of Dusan Richards. We know this coach, Hallgrimson, likes Richards. I know not a lot of people believe that Richards should be in the team until he can officially play for Chelsea. But this coach begs to differ and has included Dusan Richards in the squad. The coach did talk about the fact that Corey Burke was up in the air, and if he's up in the air because he's dealing with some injury issues, and if that is not able to be resolved by the time they're camping in Jamaica, then Demario Phillips will be the replacement player. As you know, Demario Phillips is the lone JPL player that tends to get the opportunity to play in the national team, and he's I think there with Mount Pleasant, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have the rest. The Bobby Reid very much in form with Fulham. Kevin Lambert just made the move from Phoenix Rising to Real Salt Lake. Daniel Johnson doing his thing in the championship over there in England. Joel Latibeaudiere the same, just made a move, I think, to Coventry as well. So he's teaming up with Casey Palmer. And then we just talked about Casey Palmer. Adrian Mariappa playing good for Salford City. Dexter Lembikisa, Deshaun Bernard, Amari Bell. I think the team, for the most part, are a team of players who is playing and getting game time. And as we can see with this coach, he's being very strict about, not including players who are not getting game time. Now we see the inclusion of Damari Gray and Shamar Nicholson, but bear in mind that those players are on the cusp of making moves. We hear rumors that Shamar Nicholson was linked to a move to Watford at one point from Spartak Moscow, and now we're hearing that he's linked with a move to Valencia in Spain in La Liga. So these players, while not playing week in, week out as yet, they are being linked to leagues or to clubs in leagues that are top 5 leagues in the world. So you have to bear that in mind. But outside of that, I'm good with the squad. I'm looking forward to see what happens when we play Honduras. I'll talk about that and kind of break down Honduras. We hear that Honduras has a new coach now. They did horribly in the World Cup qualifying and didn't do too well in the Gold Cup. So we hear that they have a new coach. We'll talk about that in another time. And then just to end this video, some questions were asked of the JFF, about preparation, and we heard that Mike Ricketts, the current president of the JFF, has, for the first time, I think, has accepted that the U17 preparation was inadequate. The U17 girls preparation was inadequate, and he did put some blame on the technical director. And I'm kind of glad to hear that, from the perspective that no, you are making it public that you're not accepting the fact that the preparation was inadequate, and we have to put the blame at somebody's feet. We can't act like, oh, it's COVID and all of that. COVID has been done for a while now, and I know that the JFF has many teams to manage, but the inadequacy of the preparation, we can't just act like that is nothing. So it was good to hear him come out and say, we have to do something about that. I think one of the suggestions that was made by the coach, Hugh Bradford, was that there's some ongoing camps for the under-17 girls, so that in the future, whenever a tournament comes up, it's not a 1-week preparation. Because that's what happened this time. And Panama beat Jamaica 1-0, drew the first game, and then we listened. The Panamanians said they were preparing for 7 months. Jamaica was preparing for a week, no more than 2 weeks. And, the team who put in the most preparation is the team that went through to the next round. So that should serve as some type of, lesson to us, that moving forward, we have to take everything seriously. It doesn't matter if it's the under-17 girls team, the under-17 boys team, the under-15. It doesn't matter what the age group is. Under-13, preparation is pretty important. All right. So that's how that the press conference ended. Was primarily about the Nations League squad that will face Honduras and Haiti in the upcoming Nations League window next week Thursday and the following week Tuesday. So if there's anyone in Jamaica that will be hearing this video, I want to encourage you to go out to the stadium and support the team. Go in the stadium. Don't sit down at home and watch it on TV. Please go in the stadium, buy a ticket, put on your Jamaican shirt or a yellow shirt or a green shirt or a black shirt, whatever it is. Just support the team. Buy the ticket, go in there, let your voice be heard, cheer them on, and let us put our all behind the team, because we want this team to qualify for the World Cup. I want this team to qualify for the World Cup. I'm sure if you're listening to this video, you want the same too for the team. So I implore you to go and support the team. And hopefully we'll see some good results. We'll make our presence be felt. And the 12th man will help to push the team over the line to victory and eventually qualification to the Nations League semi-final and final, the Copa America and the World Cup and the Gold Cup, etc. All right. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to leave it there. And on your way out, please hit the like button. And if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, take care of yourself. I'm out.